Hello, my name is Amina, and the title of the project I have here today is Hold That Flip. Does your flexibility impact your likelihood of injury? I do have a reason for choosing to work with this topic. Personally, I'm not a very flexible person. I also receive a lot of injuries, and being a high-level athlete, this has set me back a lot. I want to help my teammates as well as other gymnasts I know, especially since this has been such a hard time during COVID, and I know there's been lots of injuries along with decreased flexibility. It's true that flexibility does play a huge role in gymnastics. With many leaps, flips, and back-breaking maneuvers, you have to be able to perform skills without hurting yourself. But it's also true that many injuries occur in the life of a gymnast. So I wanted to see if these two are somehow related. My hypothesis was that decreased flexibility levels cause more injuries in adolescent ages 8 to 15 artistic competitive female gymnasts because of the decreased muscle range, causing an increase in the likelihood of a strain. The purpose of this experiment is to let us know if flexibility does in fact impact the amount we get injured and help prevent injuries. If it is found that it is true that flexibility levels affect the amount gymnasts get injured, it could spread more awareness to many gyms, making flexibility a higher priority not only for performance, but for safety. This would mean less injuries, fewer surgeries, less time out of the gym waiting to heal, less retiring from the sport due to injury, and an overall happier gymnastics community. I let participants measure their flexibility using the Beighton flexibility test, also known as the Beighton score. The Beighton flexibility test, or the Beighton score, is a way to measure hypermobility in joints. The Beighton flexibility test uses a 9-point scoring system to help measure your flexibility. It is extremely easy and convenient, especially in large numbers. The Beighton flexibility test has 5 different exercises you must perform, 4 of which you do twice, once on each side of your body. For example, your right hand and your left hand, or your left leg and your right leg. In these certain scenarios, for each side of your body you do the exercise correctly on, you receive 1 point. To complete the Beighton flexibility test, a participant first has to bend their pinky backwards as far as they can without turning their finger sideways. If it goes to a 90-degree angle or farther, they receive 1 point. They must do this with both hands, not just their dominant hand. Next, they must bend their elbow back as far as they can. If it bends past 180 degrees, then they receive 1 point. They do this on both elbows. After that, they have to bend one of their knees back as far as they can. If it bends past 180 degrees, then they receive 1 point. They do this on both knees. Then, they must bend down towards their feet as far as they can without bending their knees or straddling their legs. If they can have their palms flat on the floor, they receive 1 point. To finish things off, they have to bend their thumb down to their wrist as far as they can. If they are able to touch their thumb to their wrist, they receive 1 point. They must remember to perform this on both hands. It's important to remember to never push past your limits to the point where physical harm is performed. In order to find out if my hypothesis was supported, I went through a procedure of creating, collecting data, and forming conclusions. The data was collected by having participants complete an online survey asking them their level, how many injuries they received in the past 3 years, and having them complete the Beighton flexibility test to measure how flexible they are. They were then sorted into 2 different categories based on how flexible they were. The average amount of missed days due to injury was calculated for both of these categories. The categories were compared in years 2019, 2020, and 2021, and the results were concluded. In doing this, I did find out a lot of information, but not what I expected. As this experiment concluded, it was found that less flexibility does not mean more injuries, but it means less. The data collected shows that there is a higher average of days missed from people with higher flexibility levels. Gymnasts who scored 1 to 4 on the Beighton flexibility test have an average of 18.8333 missed training sessions in 1 year. Due to the amount of holidays per year, this is about 10.0713% of training sessions that are missed, or 168.16666 are attended on average out of the 187. For gymnasts that is for gymnasts who train 16 to 20 hours every week, and 8.0484% of training sessions are missed, which is 215.16666 are attended on average out of the 200 134 for gymnasts who train 25 to 26 hours every week. Gymnasts with flexibility levels 5 to 9, or gymnasts who scored 5 to 9 on the bite and flexibility test, have an average of 49.5 missed training sessions in 1 year. Due to the amounts of holidays per year, this is 26.4705% of training sessions that are missed, which is 137.5 out of the 187. That is for gymnasts who train 16 to 20 hours every week. But for gymnasts who train 25 to 26 hours every week, they miss 21.1538% of all training sessions, which is 184.5 on average out of the 234 per year. There are many possible explanations for the results given. Discomfort is common in gymnastics. This leads me to believe that overflexibility is common, and many gymnasts are becoming injured because their muscles are having to stretch to points where they are hurting themselves, especially while doing active flexibility. Based on many videos, interviews, and competitions, many gymnasts who are known to be more flexible have more leap or jump series and skills that require a large amount of arch in the spine or wide arm movements. For example, front aerials, switch rings, or back layup step outs in their routines, which puts more strain on many muscles. These muscles include the shoulders, back, Achilles, and ankles, which are some of the most common areas for injury in the sport of gymnastics to occur. These are possible reasons and explanations for the refuted hypothesis and the overall results of the experiment. Overall, I would recommend making time every day in your daily routine to stretch, even if you are not a gymnast or any high-level athlete. Just make sure not to push past limitations to get yourself injured. That is very, very important. Thank you.